Okay, hello, welcome back. So we are actually gonna be looking at the hurricane, and I should be posting this video. We are seeing a very interesting type of hurricane in this situation. Um, with Burley, down in the Atlantic right now, that will be going to a Cat 3, which will be our first major hurricane and hurricane, even in general, which is very rare. That never, ever happens. Um, I do want to show y'all a better graph so that y'all can see it a little better here. Sorry about that, guys. My microphone was on low. So, anyways, we're gonna be looking at Burley, the hurricane. Right now, it is a Cat 1. So a Cat 1 is basically the weakest hurricane, and a Cat 3 is pretty strong with pretty high rain and winds, up to 125 miles per hour. This will continue through the windy islands, or yeah, right around here. Whenever it'll get to its, Cat 3 type, motivational type thing here. Anyways, it will be hitting these islands directly. There are hurricane warnings already set for those places. I can show you that right now. Grandpa, if you do watch this, you can always comment, ask questions. You can really do whatever. You would probably be my only viewer on this video, so thank you. Um, so there is a hurricane warning is red, tropical storm warning is blue or dark blue, and then a tropical storm watch is yellow. There's only one island that is in that, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 to 10 islands that are in a hurricane warning. There is a chance that it actually will hit me, and I'm in Texas, that's pretty far. So this is actually the model that is showing me that these, winds will get up to 122 knots total, which is around 130 miles per hour, if I'm correct, which are probably not, but so it actually goes up to the Dominican Republic and it goes up to the islands of Cuba and hits Mexico. I can show y'all. Better graphs here if they're loaded. Just to kind of show. Okay, now it's loaded. Good enough. Their epilepsy warning. There will be kind of flashing lights here, because whenever I'm trying to load it, it kind of flashes the light whenever it's trying to load. So, epilepsy warning, seizure warning, whatever. Forgot the name. I always forget to do that. I'm happy I caught it early. So as you can see, okay, they're done. So as these models are playing through, you can actually see the hurricane right here. And it actually does go into the Gulf of Mexico and hits Texas directly on, pretty close to where we're actually staying on the day of this impact. And it does go into the Oklahoma area, Kansas, and it kind of stays around there. Sorry, it keeps closing. Oh, shoot, y'all did not see. Oh, yeah, wait. I guess y'all did. So, whenever. What the heck? So, whenever this does this, yeah. So it can and might continue all the way out to Texas, which I'm in. And whenever if it does do this, it could be a Cat 2, or it could be a Cat 1 or 2, or possibly a tropical storm. Whenever it does hit, it does seem to really strengthen back though, which is honestly not surprising because the Gulf of Mexico has a very high intensification type zone, which actually makes the hurricanes intensify faster than most areas. So the Gulf of Mexico is a very dangerous place for the coast, especially Florida, Texas, Louisiana, Mexico, Alabama, Mississippi, Georgia, and anywhere else that's in the Gulf of Mexico, like Cuba and the islands. Are all pretty much in that zone of high intensification or a high chance of fast intensification is probably due to happen with this. Now the pressure does keep dropping whenever it hits the coast. It's at 987. So whenever the pressure drops, the lower it is, the stronger that a tropical storm or hurricane slash storm could ever be. So the lower the pressure, the stronger it might be. With hurricanes, the lower the pressure, it will be stronger. It kind of depends on the wind speeds as well. So if there's a lot of inflow and outflow, so more outflow will actually expand the hurricane and get bigger and slightly stronger, and the inflow will kind of make a nice wind zone and rain and everything else. My model's actually just updated, so we have a little bit more of hours now. So it does seem to kind of turn and go toward the Kansas and or Kentucky, and it also kind of seems like it goes all the way. It kind of like stays, but it seems that it stays just barely north of the state Tennessee. It does really start to get into that Ohio, Iowa, those types of states really are gonna probably get some of this rain. I will show you if you do live anywhere near here, then you might want to watch this. So you can see that there is a lot of rain to do with this storm. In some areas, we could actually get between 0 inches all the way up to 5 to 12 inches of rain in very certain areas. Closer to my area that I'm supposed to be going to during this landfall, will it probably get around 3 to 5 inches of rain if we're lucky. If it actually does hit, this is still very far away. The hours are very much off, so do not trust any models until closer to the day of landfall. Also, do not trust these types of websites. They're really far behind of whenever there's gonna be landfall. Like right now, the tropical storm, or actually Cat 1, it's about to be Cat 2, has actually changed a lot. Because this Cat 2 was actually supposed to turn into a Cat 2 a lot later, like closer on a Monday, and now it's on a Sunday. So it could literally turn into a Cat 2 overnight, and a Cat 3 on Monday midnight. So, I mean, that's pretty dangerous. I mean, you can just see how fast it intensifies. I also have to watch out for this tropical storm right here, and we also have another development behind this hurricane that has a 70% chance of forming in 7 days, which means it could turn into a tropical storm within 7 days. The same with this. This has a 50-50 chance, could turn into a tropical storm, potentially it's a very low chance, 50%, in 2 days and plus the 7 days. So anywhere around that time, it could turn into a tropical storm. So the brighter these colors are, the more rain that there is. I will show you the wind of what this is at right now, which is very strong. It is at 70 miles per hour, and wind gust is at around 80 miles per hour around it. And this theoretically, so with a hurricane, this area where my mouse is would actually be the front of the hurricane, and this stronger windier part would actually be the back of the hurricane. So a fun fact is that whenever a hurricane forms, the front of the hurricane is actually weaker than the back of the hurricane. I don't really know why. I'll have to search more into that later on. So it does kind of vary. This is the satellite imagery of this hurricane. You can see that the outflow is very strong. I mean, let's see how many miles it stretches from. The top is cloud, like right here, all the way down. So that is half the size of the United States, 585 miles long, from top to bottom. From width, here to around here would be 614 from cloud to cloud. So that's very impressive. Now, we can also do we can also do square miles, which honestly isn't the best to use, but like, let's use it. So 327 squared miles that this basically is the size of, which is very impressive. That is very, very large hurricane, which honestly, all hurricanes and tropical storms can be very large. Now, this could possibly turn into a Cat 4, which will be a very dangerous hurricane, but right now it's only a Cat 3. So people are very lucky. Now, on Monday, this will make its first landfall with 125 miles per hour plus whenever it does make landfall with the Windy Islands. Now, this does not weaken the hurricane at all. Whenever it does start to weaken, it will be around the Jamaica area. And whenever it continues, this will all update. So whenever it updates, it could always change. Now, this model is showing a very strong Cat 3 hurricane, which could always obviously be very destructive. Now, we will be looking at the type of models that I will help you understand a lot better. So whenever we're looking at here, you see all these lines are very confusing for most people, even me sometimes. So you can see that it's a Cat 3 in total. You can see more models are showing a Cat 3. Some models are showing Cat 4, which is very possible. Whenever this dips like this means a weakening hurricane, but obviously this model is very wrong. It will never be correct because, as we can all tell, it will literally be a Cat 3 for a good minute, actually, all the way from today, which today is Sunday, all the way up until Thursday midnight. Then it'll start to weaken down to a Cat 2 hurricane. That is very impressive. Now, the Caribbean Sea does tend to weaken all hurricanes whenever they do come by early in this year, but sometimes they can re-strengthen, which the models did show whenever it does go into the Gulf of Mexico, because the Gulf of Mexico has a lot of warm, humid air, which can always be absorbed into the tropical storm whenever it does cross over Mexico. This could be a very dangerous situation for Mexico, Cuba, especially Jamaica and the Windy Islands over here that have a hurricane warning for tonight, Monday noon. So it'll be daylight whenever it hits. And then Tuesday midnight, the outside bands will still be hitting it. Now, this will be a very dangerous situation for these islands here because storm surge will be very strong, up to probably around 10 feet or probably 20 feet, depending on how low these islands can be or is. Now, these models are showing more of a accurate Mexico impact in the next probably week or two, or more than that. Some of them are showing that the impacts from this could possibly hit Texas, which is fine. I can deal with the hurricane or tropical storm any day. And some are showing that it's not. So these models are very confusing most of the time. Yeah. So this is more of a real-time type thing. Now, you can also see it form. As my mouse is over it, you can see it form. Let me slow this down here. You can see it very slowly form right around where my mouse is right here. You can see the rotation in that thing is just getting stronger and stronger. So whenever this hurricane does form, the eye of it, which I will delete this thing real fast. So the eye of it, which is around right here, will actually lower. It'll completely disappear, which means that hurricane has probably reached an extreme category. So whenever that eye gets bigger, that means more inflow and more outflow at the same time, which is basically making the hurricane way stronger. We could potentially have a Cat 4 on our hands, and very, very low possibility is probably maybe a 2%. It could be even at a Cat 5. Cat 4 is very possible with this long Cat 3 expansion lifespan of this hurricane. And this will be a very interesting situation for the Windy Islands and Jamaica. I will be watching over this. I'll probably make more than one video. I really hope y'all can see this. Now y'all can. Okay, what? That kind of sucked here. Okay, so now y'all are looking at it. So the Windy Islands all have hurricane warnings and stuff like that. So whenever let me just show you. Okay, so this is what we're looking at right here. You can see how fast this thing intensifies right before it hits the Windy Islands, and it continues to intensify whenever it hits Jamaica, which there's its landfall right there. And then it's about to impact Mexico. Could be Sorry. Okay. uh, okay, so this could be a very interesting hurricane slash tropical storm. It literally, it basically has 4 or 5 landfall areas, which is very crazy. The Windy Islands, Jamaica, parts of Cuba, Mexico, Texas, or potentially even more. Depends on kind of where this thing could go. Models are showing that it could hit Mexico and turn toward Texas. Some models are showing that it could turn and continue in Mexico and go back into the Gulf of Mexico and turn and hit the same exact. Okay, so a long time ago, or like 3 weeks ago, or possibly less, there was actually a tropical storm that impacted Mexico a while back. And this hurricane, if the models are very correct, it will also impact Mexico again in the same exact spot as the tropical storm did 3 weeks back, which is honestly a very big coincidence. And I do feel bad for them because that's just more damage that they have to deal with, which they've probably already made their comeback. I mean, they've probably fixed a lot of that. We do also have another. We have 4 possible development areas, or just 3, but 1 hurricane. So you can kind of see that the eye is really starting to form here. Category 1, 2, and it strengthens very quickly from a 2 to a 3, and then it goes to a hurricane warning, tropical storm warning, and then tropical storm watch. This could actually expand more upward into the northern windy islands, depending on how big this thing is. And this thing is huge. I mean, it's just massive. If it does survive the Caribbean Sea, which it does actually seem like it can, it will go into the Gulf of Mexico and make everything much stronger from, as I already said, the moisture and everything else. So we'll all kind of have to keep a watch on this for the Gulf of Mexico, and I really hope the people in the Windy Islands are evacuating or at least preparing for this Cat 3. That will be it for this video. Thank you. Like and subscribe for more hurricane updates for this season, and I hope you enjoyed. Comment down which you want to know. I'll tell you, weather-wise, obviously. And yeah, I'll see y'all next time. Bye bye.